Now that we've gone into quite a lot of detail and some quite complex SQL, it's time to go back to the drawing board and take a look at some good practices so that we can make effective use of the techniques that we've learnt. To begin with, we're going to look at the use of SQL batch files. Then we're going to look at some basic principles of database design, including data modeling and normalization. Then we're going to look at ways in which we can optimize our existing databases. First of all, prioritizing which kind of optimization is the most important. Then ways to analyze the performance of our SQL queries, use of indexes, and finally denormalization, and some other optimizations as well that we don't have room to put here. All of that will come later in this chapter. For now, let's take a look at our text editor. Now, up till now, we've been purely using the MySQL monitor to enter our SQL statements. There is another way of achieving exactly the same result. Well, there are many ways, I should say, including the graphical user interfaces and web administration that we looked at in the very first chapter of this title. But this way is a way in which we can not only execute the commands through the MySQL monitor, we can also keep a record of the creation of our database, for instance, or any queries that we wish to run on it. This particular text file is a text file containing a series of SQL statements to build a database. It creates a database and then creates all the tables and the structures that are required for the data. This is known as an SQL schema. A reason why it's a good idea to use a text editor to generate the SQL that you want to build your database is that then you have a permanent record of the way in which you built your database to begin with. You are also able to put comments in your code. If you take a look up here at the green letters here, you'll see that they're surrounded by a forward slash and an asterisk, and then an asterisk and then a forward slash. That allows you to add comments of whatever you like to explain the way in which your SQL schema is working, and that allows you to document within your code the thinking behind the creation of the tables in your SQL schema. There's another style of comment just below, which is good for when you only want to put in one-line comments, and you just put a little hash symbol at the beginning of the line, and then MySQL will ignore all the characters that follow it until it hits a new line character. Effectively a way of adding whatever human readable comment you want to put within your SQL schema. You may notice that all the MySQL keywords and SQL statements are colored a different color to the rest of the text. There's also the comment in green at the top, and the brackets are in red. Now, I haven't gone through my text file and colored in all the different parts of my text. I'm simply using syntax file within this text editor, which picks up on MySQL syntax and highlights it in different colors. This just keeps things easier to read. I find this very useful. I could thoroughly recommend TextPad as text editor, useful for not only MySQL but many other kinds of programming. Let's take a look at the way we use one of these SQL text files with MySQL. If we go over here to our DOS prompt, and you'll notice that we're not using the MySQL monitor this time, we're simply using the system prompt. Because I'm running Microsoft Windows, this is a DOS prompt. Depending on the operating your system is running, you may see another kind of prompt here. If we take a look at the number of SQL files in the binary folder of the MySQL folder, we'll see that there are quite a few. This is because I frequently use SQL files to create databases and to run queries rather than typing them all in ad hoc line by line into the MySQL monitor.